I think Jon Jones is a shit stirrer, so to speak. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
he just says, "Let me just stir the UFC news cycle a little bit more and see who I can get the attention of in this process." And he's doing a good job of it. Welcome to episode 287 of Empty the Bench here on the Empty the Bench Podcast Network. He's Zain Bando. I'm Nick Morgasen. Make sure you follow us on social media at ETB Sports, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Make sure you follow the Empty the Bench Podcast Network on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at ETB Network. Make sure you follow our YouTube channel, which is over the 1,000 subscriber number at youtube.com/ETB Network. Make sure to like and subscribe. And if you can't watch on the video site, listen to Empty the Bench wherever you get your podcasts. It's all audio platforms. We are available. Take us on the go if you can't watch us on the video side. And Empty the Bench is presented by Playback, playback.tv/ETB Network. We just got done doing NFL Redzone over the weekend. Yes, the NFL has finally made it to the Playback platform, which was kind of nice. We got to watch the Brazil game on Friday, which was the YouTube game, which we'll get into in a little bit. But we had a good time watching the game, so you'll hear a message later on to talk about that. But we are back. We are now officially into the NFL season and the college football season, so football is back in full force. Zan, how are we doing for this week?
Things are good. It's early September. The weather is a little bit cooler here, but I think sports world, at least in my particular world, if it was up to me, couldn't really be going all that much better. And I'm just excited to get into more of this with you as the fall gets officially underway. We're about a week or so away, 12-ish or so days away for my birthday. So overall, the month of September should be a fascinating month, not just for me, but in the world of sports. And I'm excited to get into all of it. It was a pretty good weekend. We did all right on predictions. We'll get into how we did, or at least how I did, in a little bit. But it should be a fun show, and I'm excited to see what we come up with. We have some interesting topics, and it should be a fun time.
Yeah, so we're going to have NFL Week 1 takeaways. We're going to get into a dumb tweet by a certain governor about Redzone. We'll recap Sunday Night Football, which, again, fascinating, great game. One of the games of the year already for this season.
Yeah, and it's only been 1 week. It's pretty wild to say that.
And the atmosphere in Buffalo was insane. We'll preview Thursday Night Football. We'll get into the Week 2 slate. We'll do the AP polls because there was a lot of movement in the AP Top 25 poll.
Mm-hmm.
Is Bill Belichick petty? Yes, I am asking, is Bill Belichick petty? And some other stuff along the way. So let's get going. So NFL Week 1 takeaways. There was a lot of headlines in Week 1. Obviously, from a hello Jet fans perspective, I could say that the big storyline, at least how I see it, how was Aaron Rodgers going to perform going back to MetLife Stadium, obviously, and no one knew what to expect. It was a giant wild card walking into that game. Now, the game was a lot closer than I anticipated in the long run.
It was a lot closer, for sure.
But for Aaron Rodgers to come out and throw 4 touchdowns at MetLife Stadium and actually run that offense to a T. By the way, DK Metcalf looked amazing in a Steeler uniform. He made some of those passes look way, way easier than Aaron was throwing. But I just think Justin Fields and the Jets just gave the Steelers too many chances down the stretch.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you hit the nail on the head there. And I think the Jets ultimately beat themselves. I think the last drive of the game was quintessential New York, where you knew they were going to find a way to blow it. And then shout out to Chris Boswell for making already the field goal of the year. In my opinion, if he misses that field goal, the Jets probably end up winning the game. So he can be credited as such for that. And yeah, I mean overall it was a sweet revenge game for Rodgers. As you know, as a Bears fan, I'm not a huge fan of him, and I would be lying if I said that I am already I would be lying if I didn't say this. Rather, that I am already dreading the November matchup when Pittsburgh comes to Chicago, because if he plays the way he did yesterday, by November and Pittsburgh is still in playoff contention, the Bears secondary might have a long day. So we'll see.
Yeah, so that game was interesting, but that was a typical Jet loss, in my
Oh,
opinion.
100%. Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
and then a game which even myself was a little shocking, even though that they won. The Bengals won 17-16. I guarantee you, most people did not have this being a 1-point finish. And
No, I bet you a lot of people lost money on this. I bet.
and can you imagine if the Browns kicker just made one kick?
I
Like,
know. I
we'd be
know.
talking about the 0-1 Bengals again right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know what it is with the Bengals and slow starts, but Myles Garrett is a beast. Did you see towards the end, what was it, the end of the third quarter,
End
or
of the third quarter, yeah.
where he had, what was it, 2 sacks plus like a credit for a half sack, like
Mm-hmm.
three back to back plays? Like, this guy is unstoppable.
Yeah, he is. He is as advertised, and I can guarantee you, if he was on a better team, he would be even double as good as he is right now. Like
But
if he, but like I can guarantee you this: in a few years, I don't know how long his deal with Cleveland is, but if he asked for a max deal to go to a better team and he got it, he would be unstoppable.
there's so many teams, like, dare I say, I think he'd be great with TJ Watt in Pittsburgh.
Oh
Imagine
yeah, oh yeah.
that would be like murderer's row of defenses, in my opinion. But that was a shocking game. I'm sure the Bengals were not 100% happy with the way that outcome. They're lucky they won in week
Oh,
one.
for sure, 100%.
Now, there was another game that made history, if you know what I'm referring to here.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the Colts and the Dolphins, first of all, I called this when we did football forecast that I thought the Dolphins were going to get embarrassed.
yeah. You were right. You were
And
100% right.
the Dolphins' offensive line did not protect Tua one bit
No, they
during
didn't.
this game.
Nope.
And on top of it, Daniel Jones had the game of his life to open the year. I'm looking at the box score. Just so 22 for 29, 272 yards and a touchdown. That's a really good game for Daniel Jones.
Oh, for sure.
Um, because no one else really did much of anything, but there was some history involved in this game. They said it was the first time this century that the Colts scored. I think they said on all 7 scoring drives in this game. They scored
Wow.
points. Think about that. That they scored on basically every offensive drive that they put out there. Like, that's incredible for offensively. Um, but that game was interesting. What do you make of the Dolphins, though? Like, do you think that the Dolphins are like a real dumpster or no?
I don't know. I think it's too early to say.
But I the defense was nowhere to be found whatsoever.
No.
And the offense didn't come to play at all. Now I forgot who they play in week 2, and we'll talk about that in when we get to the week 2 slate. But I don't know. I'm worried about the Dolphins big time. Just
Oh,
looking,
Miami plays the Patriots this week.
and I think they're going to lose that one too. To be quite honest, other games. Just looking around because we were talking about New York. The Giants got blown out again in Washington. There's already questions for Brian Dable. Will Russell Wilson start in week 2? Well, you don't have to look much further because Brian Dable already confirmed that Russell Wilson is going to start in week 2. Defense was nowhere to be found. The Giants had a lot of injuries. This is typical. Jaden Daniels looked really good in this game. 19 for 30, 233 yards, a touchdown. One of their rookie running backs, Ja'Cory Krusky-Merritt, had a touchdown in this game. He looked really good. I don't know. Like, Johnny talks about this all the time, where he thinks that there's a lot of New York Giants bias that goes on in the media. Do you see that or no?
I'm not sure because I don't really pay attention that closely to their beat reporters or their fans, so I can't really comment.
Well, or just like like where they just like say a lot of bad things and don't give the team a chance.
Yeah, I mean, if you're asking about it from that perspective, I see generally more negative Giants coverage than positive.
I mean, on Get Up alone on ESPN, they beat the living you know what out of the Giants every single week. Now, I thought it was kind of ridiculous going into the season that people were saying don't sleep on the New York Giants. Well, what value do the New York Giants have that you're going to see wins out of this franchise? I just don't.
Nothing at the moment. What do you think?
I just don't see it because you think this team's going to go anywhere with Russell Wilson, who's out of his prime, leading this team? I don't see it at all. But yeah, the Giants are going to be a middle of the road team at best. I'm just looking around to see if there's any other games that really stood out. Oh, the Niners and the Seahawks. George Kittle went down with a hamstring injury, which they somehow managed to win the game. But this game got a little ugly down the stretch, right?
I would agree.
And just looking at box scores, Brock Purdy had 2 picks. He got hit like really hard quite a few times.
He did. That's the game Seattle could have won.
They could have won this. Sam Darnold, again, he had a very blech game, no touchdowns, 16 for 23, 150 yards, nothing really great. It was nice to see McCaffrey back after the injury. I think that's also why they traded for Brian Robinson Jr. to have a experienced running back in case, so he could take some of the reps away. But otherwise, that game was really nothing to ride home about. How much of the Brazil game did you see?
Just the part with you at the end of the fourth quarter, so I didn't really watch it.
So that was a unique experience watching that game from Brazil. The Chiefs looked very, very off offensively, like slow, and Mahomes was all over the place. It seemed like how often do you hear the sentence "Justin Herbert outduels Patrick Mahomes"?
You don't hear it. It's as simple as that.
And the running game was working for the Chargers. And who's the veteran wide receiver they brought back in? I'm forgetting his name all of a sudden. I'm just looking. Keenan Allen.
Mm-hmm.
He had quite a few insane catches in this game. Like everything was working. I think the Chiefs are a little bit in trouble the way their offense is.
They could be. You never know.
And they have a Super Bowl rematch coming up in week 2 against the Eagles, which
luckily though the game is in Kansas City, because if the game was in Philly, I'd be even more concerned.
Well, they said for the first time in a long time, according to DraftKings, they were saying that they're going to be a dog at Arrowhead for the first time in a long time.
That's wild. That might be some coin for some people, I would say.
I think the Eagles are the better team currently, though.
I do too, but it's the NFL and it's very unpredictable.
Now, I think the Chiefs are one of the best home teams in the NFL, but I think let's put it this way. The last time these two teams played, they had guys like Darius Slay and all those guys in. Now that those guys are gone, the defense is not the same as they once were when they played. So that'll be a completely different game in that regard. Did any other games stand out to you or no?
From a pick standpoint, I'm pissed at the Denver Broncos because all they needed to do was score one more point and we would have had the cover yesterday. Instead, they won 20-12. And I don't know. That one was disappointing from a pick standpoint. Um, I don't know. I mean,
Packers,
overall,
Lions.
though, I mean, I was happy because I took Green Bay.
So
So
did I. And I totally forgot that I took the Packers as a pick during forecast, but it looked like Micah Parsons was very comfortable
very
in
comfortable.
Packers uniform.
Oh, for sure.
Because, and it's a little weird that he's getting this comparison already, but he's getting the Reggie White comparison already. I think we got to kind of slow the brakes on that one a little bit.
I think so too, but he certainly is one of those could be premier Packers players that people look back on as like a generational talent in the years to come.
And I think he got to Goff quite a few times.
He did.
The Lions look slow. I think that, and I think some of us talked about these in the previews. You guys probably did. Not having your two coordinators is going to hurt them.
Oh, it's huge.
So you can't run the same offensive schemes that a Ben Johnson was running in Detroit when he was there. So
no,
I think that's a significant difference. Jordan Love looks healthy for the first time in a while. Also,
yeah, for sure.
And I just think the Packers are in for a good year. And now with Micah Parsons, I think that makes them a heavy favorite out of the conference, especially in the division.
I think so too. Hence why I'm feeling good about my NFC Super Bowl representative right now.
Yeah. I guess, we'll flip these. Let's do the Sunday Night Football recap also, since we're talking about the games. And what a game. What a game to start Sunday Night Football.
This game was sick.
And it didn't look good for a long time.
No, it did not. And it didn't look like most of your guys' over picks were going to hit either.
Well,
at some point.
By halftime, it was 20-13. So we were so that was 33. I had a feeling in the second half, the scoring fireworks were going to come out, which is what happened. And
yeah, but you didn't think they would come out to the extent where the Ravens would blow a 40-25 lead, though.
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying that I expected this to be like a punch out going back and forth like it was.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of like what Michael said on Football Forecast, where he's like, if this was at 60, I would have taken it also. Well, guess what? 81 points were scored in this game.
Yeah. And the lone person to pick a team, yours truly right here.
You were very close on that, by the way, though.
I'm aware.
You were as close as you could possibly get on that. And you know what, though? Like, when we were watching the game, after the game, a lot of people were saying, like, oh, clutch Josh Allen this and blah, blah, blah. Yes, absolutely. Not arguing that. He had a clutch drive plus that throw that got them down to the 1 yard line.
That throw was sick.
Yeah, it was. But we got to blame a certain Butterfingers that turned over the football. Also in Derrick Henry.
Oh, I'm aware.
By the way,
if he hangs onto the ball and runs like 5 more yards, the game is over.
Right. And
the game is over.
And this is what annoys me sometimes, where people are just like, well, clutch Josh Allen. And I'm like, you don't even get that opportunity if Derrick Henry doesn't turn the football over.
Exactly.
And that's what bothers me, because, like, I see Bills fans saying, well, we were going to do that the whole time. We were going to come back. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You can't say that.
Yeah, because you didn't know at the time if you were going to come back or not.
Because Derrick Henry is probably or almost automatic carrying the football, you would say, right?
I would say so.
And by the way, he had some incredible runs in this game.
Oh, yeah.
Look at these numbers. This is since Derrick Henry has come to Baltimore, he's he's had a resurgence of his career.
The one before halftime was the craziest one.
That was like a 50-yard run or something, right?
Mm-hmm. Or he almost scored.
I think they got him down by like the 2 or 3 yard line.
Mm-hmm. That run was nuts, though.
So listen to these numbers. Whoever, fantasy owners, gamblers, 18 carries, 169 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I bet you some people's fantasy leagues, they won because of that.
or at the time that we're recording this, they're on the verge of winning their league because
Correct.
be-
The week. Yeah.
yeah,
But 18 carries, 169 yards, 2 touchdowns. That long run, by the way, you're talking about was 49 yards. And this guy looked like he just came out with aggression in this game, looking to just get off on the right foot.
I agree.
And I don't know if he'll be able to repeat the year he had last year, which was historic.
You might not.
But if it wasn't for Saquon Barkley's historic year, he probably would have been the top running back in the league last year.
Yes.
So I would say this is off to a good start and a good day at the office, even though you didn't win.
I would say so. And even though we were done talking about him, I think even though divisional play hasn't started, those Pittsburgh-Baltimore games are going to be ridiculous.
In my opinion, though, I think what Baltimore proved last night is that they're going to punch people in the mouth like they do. And Buffalo had to stay in there and fight just to have any chance. Because at one point they were trailing, what was it? They were trailing in the fourth quarter, 40 to 195?
40 to 25.
So they scored 16 unanswered points to
win the game.
A few mistakes by the Ravens offense in that last drive also.
And just not preserving clock management very well, which I'm sure you'd agree with.
Oh, yeah, 100%. The clock management was terrible. But this was
and Harbaugh's got to know better than that, too.
You would think. And by the way, Zay Flowers have a game, why don't you? 7 receptions, 143 yards, and 1 TD. By the way, I had Lamar and Zay Flowers on the fantasy team that were in the league. But you know what? Tough game. Someone had to lose, right? I mean, that's the way I look at it. If we can have a game like this every single time between these two teams, I'd sign up away. But
and by the way, not to start the early floodgates, but good luck in week 2 because we have our matchup this week.
Wait, what do you mean?
For fantasy football,
that's right. Week. Oh, I thought you were talking about just NFL week 2 generally, but yes.
No. Yeah, I play you. I play you this week, so it should be interesting.
By the way, did you also see that DeAndre Hopkins catch in the end zone?
Unbelievable.
That guy, even at his age, is still making one-handed catches in the end zone. Like, that was a perfect pickup for the Ravens, by the way, because they get a veteran experience there. But if we get a game like that, I'd be ecstatic every time. I do want to talk about this also, Governor Newsom and the Redzone tweet. This was so dumb. Like we were watching Redzone, by the way, with our Playback partner. By the way, they did a really good job showing the NFL Redzone feed on Playback. The quality was great. But all of a sudden, a tweet from Governor Newsom's, they call it press office. I'm assuming that's just his office. And I'm going to read this tweet because a lot of people saw it, but I'm sure not everyone saw it. So it says, NFL Redzone just had its first commercial. Terrible. So distracting. I'm very seriously considering banning them forever. Trump let this happen. Total disaster. I, America's favorite governor, Gavin C. Newsom, many say the fixer, will clean it up. ESPN, a great American company, stop the commercials. Thank you.
Yeah, this was just a tweet that just shouldn't have been posted.
This is a wild tweet. Like, one basically saying that, now let's clear something up too. There was 1 minute of total commercials.
Just like Scott Hansen promised there would be.
So, and by the way, they were side-by-side commercials, so you never missed any action that was going on.
That was the whole point.
So, this tweet is wild. And then saying, I'm seriously considering banning them forever. So you're going to deprive people of California from watching football because you don't like the fact that they put in a minute of commercials? That's the answer?
Yeah, that's dumb.
I mean, and then I don't love the whole political angle of stuff, but to say Trump let this happen, like,
When there's no proof of it, right?
number one, there's no proof. And number two, I'm getting sick and tired of people blaming Trump, blaming ESPN. First of all, ESPN does not have control over what goes into Redzone. That is controlled by the NFL. It's controlled by the NFL who puts the commercials in. It's not ESPN, it's not Trump, and people are delusionally out of their minds when they make those statements.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, what do you think in this scenario?
I mean, as I just said, I don't think you should have tweeted that.
But I just mean, like, what do you make of like people who are ill-informed when it comes to understanding how the commercials work?
Oh, I mean, you just either explain it to them or you just ignore them if they don't want to listen to you. It's pretty simple.
You have to remember one thing also, that the NFL probably did a cost proposition for Redzone, and they said, okay, we can't do this for free forever. Otherwise, we're going to lose money on it. So we could put 4 little 15-second or 30-second commercials into it, and people won't notice the difference because they're not going to a full screen commercial for it.
Well, Redzone is a pay for service though.
No, I meant generally just in it, but
Okay.
like, I think people are not going to notice the difference as long as they don't full screen the commercial. Then you'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think people got to stop overreacting to this nonsense. It's dumb, and whoever was in the head of Governor Newsom and said, you know what, guys, I'm going to tweet out that Trump ruined Redzone. Like, someone needs to tell him, like, maybe not the best idea for your political campaign.
No, not even close. Not just political campaign, but brand, period.
Well, yes.
Take politics out of it for a second. Think of Governor Newsom, the person. You know what I mean?
California already has an issue from the gambling perspective because their gambling laws are some of the strictest in the country.
Mhm.
And so now you're going to put this on top of everybody. Oh, well, you can't gamble, and I'm going to try to remove Redzone. Do you really just want to piss off every resident of California at this point?
No, probably not a good idea.
So I just thought that was dumb. Anyway, let's move on to Thursday Night Football, and let's do a little preview of that. Just pull up the week 2.
It's the Packers and the Commanders.
And it's significant because it's on September 11th as well. Pretty good game. Commanders at Packers. On this is the first Prime Video game of the year.
Right.
So, what do you make of this game coming up?
I think the Packers win. They're at home. Their defense is elite already with Parsons. Jordan Love, I thought, was pretty good. And yeah, I'll give Jaden Daniels credit. But to go on the road in that environment Thursday night against a team that already looks like an NFC contender, I think it's one of those where the Packers pull away late and win by 10 to 14 points.
Yeah, you and I are pretty much tracking on the same page with this. I just think the Packers, first of all, the atmosphere.
Now, if the game was in Landover, Maryland, and the Commanders had home field advantage, we would be talking about a different game that's maybe a 3-point game that goes to overtime. But it being in Green Bay, under the lights, if you will, that's gonna be difficult.
The atmosphere at Lambeau was incredible in week 1. Like, they had a full crowd. I don't think there was a single seat available.
It's gonna be next level this week, I think.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Do I think Jaden Daniels can make this game competitive? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It'll be close in the first half. That's for sure.
But I think, like you said, and like I said, like the Micah Parsons deal just made them a juggernaut. defensively, and I think that just puts more pressure on those offenses that they play because they already were a pretty good defense to begin with.
Hmm.
Now adding him in, like it's like threat central. And Jordan Love, like we said, looks healthy. He had the offhand injury, which seems to be recovered. It looks like he didn't take as many sacks in week one. He
No,
was
he
able to
didn't.
move. He moved
Yeah,
around in the pocket, which was nice to see.
yeah, he did. It
Josh Jacobs looked really good too. By the way, I still stand on the front that was one of the best moves the Packers ever made,
was a
uh,
great move.
acquiring him because he's kind of a dual threat. He can catch passes, he can run the ball. Um, Reminds me a little bit of Christian McCaffrey, a little bit. Also,
Yeah, it's a solid. That's a solid comparison.
or Saquon, a little bit also, who can do that. Um, but I think that's going to be an incredible game, and I see the Packers winning that game regardless. Like, obviously, we'll wait for spreads and all that stuff because we're a little early on it. But I think just like survivor pool type, if I were to pick this game, I would pick the Packers just because I think they're the better team right now,
Yeah,
currently.
this might. Well, this won't be part of the threesome, but in terms of my ESPN survivor pool that I'm currently in, I'm currently considering this game, but I haven't put a finger on it. Luckily, though, I did survive in my ESPN survivor pool last week officially by taking the Eagles. So maybe I'll take the Packers this week. So
Wow, you used the Eagles pick up early, huh?
yeah, I did.
And then just looking forward, I think you're going to start seeing divisional matchups now, right? In week two.
Yeah,
Um,
one of them being the Bears in Detroit.
that's going to be a good one. I think.
Yeah, I think it's too early to pick it because at the time that we're recording this, the Bears have yet to play Minnesota. But
Yeah,
yeah, that should be a good game.
but I think Detroit's got some holes, like big time, that they got to figure out.
I do too. I think it's a must-win game for the Bears, though, to show that they're legit.
It
That's what I think.
it's also interesting that they got two divisional games to lead off their season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how often do you see a team get two divisional games right off the bat?
You don't usually see that.
So they got to, I don't know, they got to figure it out. They got to win games. And if they were to go 0-2 to start, that's going to hurt them down the stretch.
Right.
And so we'll see what happens.
Let's
Just looking,
hope not. That would be bad.
no, that would be bad. Divisionally going 0-2 to start. Um, and then
And
some of the
oh,
other,
and 0-2 overall too.
well, yes, but I'm just saying divisionally, it wouldn't help them either.
No, no.
Some of the other games, Giants, Dallas, I'm not really too entertained with that game, to be quite honest.
Dallas should. It's a game it should win, but
I could see them
I
losing
don't.
it, though.
I don't know. I don't know.
Let's see, Patriots, Miami. Uh,
I liked New England last week, and I was wrong. I really like New England this week. I think.
oh no, it's not even a question. I would take New England, not even like hands down, without even looking at the
That might
spread.
be my other ESPN survivor if I don't end up picking Green Bay this week. Might be the Patriots.
And then the Bills, Jets. I think the Bills are absolutely going to dismantle the Jets this week.
I think so too. You're giving
Don't
me some good survivor options for Blitz this week already.
Bills would be very easy survivor pick this week, in my opinion, against the Jets. And then just some of the other matchups. Cleveland at Baltimore. I think Baltimore's absolutely going to trounce the Browns. But of course, we said that about the Bengals, and the Bengals almost lost. But I think the Ravens are a much bigger juggernaut than the Bengals are. So I think that's going to be easy work, and that's in Baltimore also. So I think the Browns are going to get embarrassed um, at M&T Bank Stadium. And then let's see. Oh, and then you have the Super Bowl rematch, Eagles at the Chiefs. Are you surprised that's not a primetime game?
I am.
That's a 425 game on Fox?
I am, but it still is a national game though, because I think the whole country gets it. I'm pretty sure.
But I'm just saying, you would have thought that a Super Bowl rematch would have gotten its own individual game.
I
With
I would agree.
Because I'm just going to read you the NBC game, Sunday Night Football. They put Falcons Vikings in Sunday Night Football over Eagles Chiefs.
Yeah, that's not great.
I mean, that's terrible. Whoever the scheduler is did not think that one through very well. But and then obviously Monday night, just looking at the games, Bucks at Texans and Chargers at the Raiders. Like those are not great games either. To be quite honest.
I like honestly way too early picks. I like Tampa and I like Las Vegas. I like the Raiders to start 2-0.
You like the Raiders over the Chargers?
I do, yeah.
Even though they just put up an incredible performance against the Chiefs in Brazil?
Yeah, I'm aware. That's why they call it a letdown week, my friend.
By the way,
and it's a divisional game. Think about that.
By the way, that's interesting. Also, Chargers back-to-back national games to lead off the year.
Yeah, that's
also
interesting. Yeah.
So they get the extra recover because they played on Friday, but that's also going to be one of two ESPN doubleheaders during the year.
Okay.
I think, if I remember correctly. But you know what? The schedules are going to play out, and there's some bad games too, like Rams, Titans, and Niners, Saints. Like those are going to be blowouts if I ever saw them.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much a look at the Sunday slate games. I don't know. Is there anything else that storylines wise beside games for week 2?
Wasn't that hilarious that the Rams play 2 AFC South opponents to begin the year?
That is bizarre.
That's weird, right?
But like I said though, it's weird also that the Bears are playing 2 divisional opponents in a row to start the season though.
That is weird.
So, I don't know. Maybe the schedulers have something up their sleeve that we don't know about.
I don't know.
But
that's what makes it fascinating though, right?
I always find it interesting how they choose the games and how they put them together. That would be fun to talk to like an NFL scheduler and how they figure that out.
That would be cool.
I bet you there's some kind of formula they use based off the year before.
Apparently, when I watched the documentary, they say once the schedule for the new year comes out in May, the next day they already start working on the next year. The next day.
They do?
Mm-hmm.
How can they do that though? Because I thought some of it is based off of wins, losses, where teams finish, isn't it?
No, they can, but they can at least pencil in when the divisional games might be for each team.
Oh, you're not talking about the actual matchups. You're just talking about like the scheduling in a sense. Okay.
Yeah, so very early on, they already know when for example, they already know next year, even though it's not public, they already know like when the Bears will play Minnesota next year and stuff like that.
I mean, I guess to certain games, they could technically do non-divisional games without knowing any outcomes,
right.
I guess.
Right.
But I just find it interesting, like you just said, like the Rams getting 2 AFC South opponents right off the bat. Like, who makes that schedule? Like,
it's a good question.
But we'll have plenty of time to talk about scheduling over the season. Empty the Bench is presented by Playback. Watching sports is more fun with others, but we spend too much of our time watching alone. Playback is a virtual space where communities can stream live sports together with everyone perfectly synced up. Creators can hop on stage, deliver their own play-by-play analysis and commentary, and invite viewers up for Q&A. Playback makes watching sports fully interactive and a social experience. From playing fantasy sports, repping your favorite players and teams, and watching with the commentators and communities you care about. Win or lose, sports are best enjoyed together. Join our community by going to playback.tv/ETB network to find out more, including our live stream schedule. And now back to the show. Let's move on to the newest AP Top 25 poll. Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, Illinois, all in the top 10. You would say there was a lot of movement, shuffling, right?
Oh, I would say so. Yeah, I would say so. So a few big surprises for me early on. Some of this is off the banner, some of it's on it. Early surprise, Illinois moves from number 11 to number 9 after a 45-19 road win against Duke. This is the game that every expert on the planet, except for maybe me and a few other people, thought that this was going to be the classic upset pick of the week with Duke beating Illinois. That didn't happen. Oregon dominated Oklahoma State and their favorite head coach. This past weekend, they ran up the score. Penn State defeated Florida International, and Ohio State pounded Grambling State. But a few big surprises, though. South Florida upsetting Florida. That was huge. That now sets up a big game this week between South Florida and Miami, which if you would have told me last week that South Florida and Miami would be one of the biggest games of week 3, I don't know if I would have believed you.
This was the payday game, though, right?
Exactly, yeah.
In case people, just tell people what I'm talking about to you, so in case they don't know.
So South Florida played Florida this past Saturday, and of course, with these non-conference games, the bigger schools pay the smaller schools an X amount to come in and play and essentially lose, while South Florida ended up winning this bye game against Florida on a last-second field goal in Gainesville.
So there was a few games, right? So that game and then the Army game
against Kansas State, yeah.
So, and both teams lost. And I was asking you, and I'll ask you now since we're doing the show. People say, "Oh, it's not a big deal if you pay a team to get that win or whatnot." But isn't it more pressure when you pay and you have to really win that game if you do that?
Oh, it's massive. It's massive because even though it's a game that you're expected to win, as we just alluded to, not every team comes through and delivers. This was the case there. So
I just find it interesting when you see these teams that pay teams. Now, if you're saying based on rules, because you have to get important wins, and the more you win by, it looks better depending on the outcome. Why would you play these lower level teams? Does that win help or does it hurt?
It doesn't really help, nor does it hurt. It would only hurt if you lose the game.
But so tell me what the logic behind South Florida and Army and why did those big schools want to play those games?
Well, it's more so to give the smaller schools an opportunity to compete, because if you look at the remainder of the smaller school schedule, they're not playing teams of that caliber. And also, if they didn't play those schools, they wouldn't be able to earn money where the resources go back to the football program and stuff like that. So some of these schools need to play these bigger schools to earn money to keep everything fluctuating. That's kind of how it goes.
The other one I want to ask about too, and it was a certain team that scored 70 plus points this past weekend. Alabama. What? 73-0?
Yeah.
Can you explain that at all? Or is that just big school chomping down on small school?
It's basically the latter and not the former. I mean, it didn't really show me anything that Alabama is back or anything like that. Their true test is going to be, can they welcome Wisconsin to Tuscaloosa this week and pound them? Because if they can, then maybe they figure things out. If Wisconsin plays to a similar level as maybe a Florida State from a few weeks ago, the Tide could be in trouble. So,
well, how would you compare Wisconsin to Florida State, which they lost to?
Oh, Florida State's a better football team.
Okay, so then you're basically saying they better beat Wisconsin.
Yeah, not only should they, not only should they beat Wisconsin, and not only do they have to beat Wisconsin, they have to pound them. They have to win by 31. They need to go in there and prove that this slump in week 1 against Florida State was no fluke, and that UL Monroe was just target practice.
So you're saying that just a victory means nothing against Wisconsin then?
Correct. If they win an ugly game, people are going to start questioning what in the world is going on down there.
Would they drop further if they just got a win and didn't win convincingly?
Probably based on what the other teams might do.
That's crazy. I mean, I don't know. I've always come from the world, like I've told you many times. I thought wins is how you determine stuff. I didn't realize wins and winning by 30 or 40 points.
Yeah, you got to you got to win impressively to show not just the AP voters, but eventually the college football playoff committee that you deserve the spot that you have. So, like
Uh,
for example, Illinois, like if Illinois doesn't destroy Western Michigan going into the Indiana game, that's gonna be a problem. They can't just beat Western Michigan and feel satisfied with it. They need to win the way they won against Duke this past week. They need to make a statement that they are the number 9 team in the country.
do you expect that?
They should. Yeah, they're favored by 27.5.
Holy
They
cow.
hmm they should. And Illinois has covered the first 2 weeks. So
See, and maybe it's because I don't know the college game as well. These wild spread numbers that come up. Like, what was the game the other day that you said that you missed out on? Oh, the LSU game, which,
no, the Auburn game.
or the Auburn game, excuse
They
me.
were
That was,
favored by 42.5. They scored 42, but they only won the game 42-3. So they didn't cover.
can you explain briefly, and then we'll move on to another topic, these wild spread numbers that you see in college football?
I'm not sure, but what I can tell you is I think they can get out of hand.
No, but I'm
Very
saying like I've seen before like 50 or 60 like as a spread number before in college football. Is that really like logical?
no, but I think, and this is no disrespect to the cappers out there, and I'm sure they know more. So if I get arrogant backlash from this, I deserve it. But I think most of it is because Vegas doesn't really care like about some of these smaller schools. So they have to put a number on it because if they don't put a number on it, then you'd be betting like a minus 3,000 money line and you'd be winning zero money. So
Like
that
you would have to bet 3,000 to win 100. That's
right,
essentially what,
right,
which
right,
means there's no value there whatsoever.
right.
But
So taking a number actually provides a little bit of juice because you have something that you need to pay attention to.
because, like
So
I said, I laugh sometimes when I open like a DraftKings app and I see some of these spreads are like 60 points or 65 points. And I'm like, how is this even possible at times?
mhm.
Like, but I don't know. But so looking at Illinois, because you've been talking about it a lot, also on Bando's breakdowns, also, where do you see the potential in the next couple weeks?
It's a good question. So I think these next, well, not this week, because I am just going to say it. I think they'll win this week and it'll be comfortable. These next 2 weeks are going to show where this team really is. They're playing an Indiana team that made the college football playoff just a year ago. They still have Signetti. They played the softest non conference schedule I've ever seen. So they really haven't been tested at all. So you have that game. That game's important. And USC, which is Illinois' homecoming game, which I'll be in attendance for at the end of the month. That's a huge game too because USC's off to a hot start. It's a big year for Lincoln Riley, and it's a big year for Jaden Mavia as well to prove that he is the true quarterback one in Southern California. So if Illinois starts the season undefeated or with one loss, I think the next few weeks will really show whether Illinois can make the CFP or not. But for sure, the key is they can't. I'm not saying they can't overlook any opponent, but they can't expect to go in at home, welcome in Western Michigan, not play that well, still win, and then lay eggs the first 2 weeks in conference play. They need to win this game to go into Bloomington to show okay, if we win this game, this USC game at the end of the month is going to have high stakes because if they stumble whatsoever these next few weeks, all the people, all the national pundits that have said this whole year so far, oh, Illinois is not legit, or oh, Illinois isn't playing anybody, or oh, Illinois was simply lucky last year because they won 5 games by a possession. All those people are going to start to come out and reintroduce themselves again to the college football community. And even though Illinois doesn't care about outside noise, they have to know a little bit that if they even slip up just once, all of these pundits are going to come out and say, "Yeah, I told you so."
So I guess in a brief sentence or two, and then we'll transition to some other college football stuff. In a brief sentence or two, top 5 or no?
After when would be my question.
I'm just saying in the season at some point.
I'm gonna say yeah. I mean, if they are good as they say they are, they have a chance of being a top 5 team for sure. Yeah, if they are top 5 going into Ohio State October 11th, things are gonna get very very fun. Let's just let's say that, because to get a possible number 1 versus number 5 matchup in Champaign, which is probably one of the biggest games in in not just Illinois history, but in the history of home Illinois football games, that's when the country will really start to realize, okay, this team is actually what the AP poll says they are. So
Interesting. Okay.
mhm.
Now, let's talk about some other college football news. And of course, this guy's been in the news quite a bit as of late. Let's talk about Bill Belichick again for the 10 millionth time. And it was after a victory on Saturday, right?
Charlotte, yeah, they won.
And I don't know, someone was asking him about the Patriots again. And basically, he was saying, like, oh, the Patriots banned me from coming to the stadium. And basically, Bill Belichick, instead of just taking the high road, decided to become petty and said that he's basically going to ban the Patriot scouts and their team from coming to UNC. And the quote is right here. If you're watching the video side, it's clear I'm not welcome there at their facility, so they're not welcome at ours. It's pretty simple. Now, the question I'll ask you is petty or warranted based on what the Patriots did?
I think it's warranted. If he's claiming that he's banned from all Patriots facilities after all he's done for that franchise over the course of 20 years, what other my question to you back would be, what other response would you expect Belichick to give if that is ultimately the case? Should he have said that in the moment when it should be about his new team and his first win? Probably not, but I'm sure there's still a grudge there that he was going to say at some point, and he happened to just say it at a public press conference when nobody was expecting it.
See, the issue I have is with all the public BS that he's been a part of already, the girlfriend issue, the Hard Knocks issue, all the other public issues he's had. This is kind of just adding up on the plate, the more things that he's doing publicly. And that's why I said he should have just taken the high road and just said, I'm not going to answer this at this time, or I don't have to give you an answer. It's not an important question. But I feel like this was almost like a slight back at the Patriots by saying, "Oh, you're not going to take me? Well, fine. Then you're not allowed here." Now, I saw an interview with Mike Vrabel on, I think it was on WEEI, when they were doing the coaches show. And they asked him about the Belichick thing. And they said, well, wasn't he back for the Tom Brady statue, which I think he was. And I think he was back for a few other things. So there is some confusion partially with this going on. But I don't know. I feel like Belichick should have just left this one alone.
Yeah, he could have, but as I alluded to, someone was going to ask him about this at some point, and I have a theory that he said it just so that he didn't have to address it again.
That's a good point.
That's why I think he said it, because he knew that if he ignored it, people were going to ask him about it every single week, when the focus should be on what he's doing to better UNC and to better their chances for their season, et cetera, et cetera.
But
So
you notice when he was the Patriot coach, when they would ask him questions, he would just be like, "We're off to the next game," or blah 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 blah. Blah. Now, you notice lately he's been like more aggressive answering
Very,
questions,
very aggressive.
and
I partially think it has to do with his personal relationship.
oh, I agree, 1,000%. But I don't know. I just found that interesting in that regard. That it's a little pettiness, but I think it could be warranted. Too. All right, let's talk about Big Noon Kickoff because you had brought this up. So Big Noon Kickoff chooses Oregon-Northwestern over other ranked matchups. So tell me what the thought process is here.
So I think it's because every week Big Noon Kickoff usually has a Big Ten team in their slot at least, and sure enough, this is a Big Ten matchup. But I more so wanted to talk about the Twitter outrage about this because there are tons of people that are just livid that this is the game that's on Big Noon Kickoff, because usually a Big Noon Kickoff game is a high stakes game between two good teams to compete with the ABC game at noon. Basically, this is like Fox's version of that. I'm sorry, but Northwestern being 1-1 and getting blown out by Tulane and beating Western Illinois, the same school that Illinois beat in week 1, versus an Oregon team who smoked Oklahoma State and won their first game of the season a week before that with no issues, doesn't scream excitement from a Big Noon Kickoff standpoint. And let me just read some of these tweets to you because they're fascinating. This is from when Big Noon Kickoff announced this. It has 658,500 impressions.
Wow.
Okay, so one person says Backyard Brawl or Texas State, Arizona State weren't available. Wake Northwestern is cool, but nobody wants to see a 45-7 ass whooping. Another account says, I mean, why LOL? Monster Lynch says Georgia versus Tennessee, Texas A&M versus Notre Dame. Those are two games that are this week. Georgia Tennessee is actually the college game day game this week, and A&M Notre Dame is a pretty big game in itself too. And you guys are going to Northwestern. Then this is one that's funny. This is one that made me laugh as a Northwestern alumnus because this is literally what would happen when I was there. Someone wrote, in front of a roaring crowd of 2,534 fans at Northwestern, surely this will be the game of the year. And then finally, I'll read one more from Updog Sports Talk. They say Northwestern versus Oregon, a noon kick with Big Noon Kickoff in attendance. We've lost the plot in a bad way here.
Oh my god, that's terrible. I mean, does it have anything to do with Oregon being the 4th overall team or no?
I would say so, but they had already announced that they would be going to this game even before the season started. So
you're saying people are more outraged by the matchup because they had already known it was coming regardless.
yes, exactly. Yep. I thought for a bit that they were going to flex their way out of it and go to one of those other two matchups I just said, Georgia, Tennessee, or
what is the rules of that? Like, how does that work in that regard?
so usually for Big Noon Kickoff, whatever game they pick has to be aired on Fox. And unfortunately, those two games that I just alluded to, Georgia, Tennessee, and Notre Dame A&M are not on
ABC Fox. Or ESPN?
Well, Georgia, Tennessee is ABC, and Notre Dame A&M is NBC.
NBC.
Notre
That's
Dame.
always NBC. Yeah.
So
they had no choice.
They
really.
had no choice, but people still are in the mood to troll Big Noon Kickoff, as they should. I'm gonna admit, even as someone who's like close to Northwestern and stuff, it's one of those games where obviously, if they had other matchups, they would choose them, but that's the hand they were dealt. So,
I mean, I think also Big Noon Kickoff is trying to be is almost like the little brother to the big brother of College Game Day.
I think so too.
And this is not helping their cause by any means by putting this game on. But what choice do they have? I feel like people forget sometimes that like the game might stink, but sometimes you have no choice because all the other games that are within the conference or within the division are taken by other networks.
Exactly.
So people forget because fans want what they want, and they don't think about a network perspective like you and I do.
No, they
W-
don't. And I knew that those tweets that I just read to you were going to happen, because people don't know, but that is the reality of the situation. Is and whenever it is a big noon kickoff game, the game airs on Fox. That's the point.
Right.
So
We'll see what happens. But I agree with you. That's not a great game by any means.
no, it's not.
All right, quickly, let's get through some boxing and UFC. So you brought this to my attention. Jon Jones revealing he's training 5 days a week. Now, we've talked about this before when the rumors started of the White House card, which is now a reality, which they did officially announce for June 2026. I still don't think Jones is going to make the card. That's just my opinion. You would know better than me. I just think Dana doesn't want to deal with Jon Jones at all.
Yeah, I don't know, but I could say this. Excuse me. I think Jon Jones realizes, in a sense, too, that it's a very slow news time in MMA. So of course he's going to keep himself relevant a little bit. It's this gives people something to munch on for at least the next few weeks. I think that's partially it. And as someone who writes about the MMA news cycle several times a week, I can tell you that this is arguably the biggest story in the current cycle at the moment, with no major UFC pay-per-view until October. I don't know if he's going to make the White House card, but I know this: he's going to make the media's lives exhausting over the next year if this is the stuff he's going to pull.
You mean
So
essentially a living hell, so to speak?
absolutely.
I mean, you and I were discussing like potential fights on this card because again, we don't have it like officially official what's going on.
No, it's not official by any means.
But like some people are praying like for Aspinall Jones, but it's like you said, Aspinall's got to win his fight against Gon before
Mm-hmm.
he can even have a chance to be on the card. Because you said they're not going to put a loser on the card,
I don't
right?
think they would, especially when he's not the heavyweight champion. I don't think they would do that.
So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens with this. I think this is just more news cycle than anything.
Of
I don't.
course. Absolutely.
I think Jon Jones is a shit stirrer, so to speak. Like
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
he just says, "Let me just stir the UFC news cycle a little bit more and see who I can get the attention of in this process." And he's doing a good job of it.
It's, well, obviously no shit. It certainly got the attention of me.
Well, it's got the attention of every UFC MMA publication or site, I
Right.
would say at this point.
Right.
All right,
Exactly.
quickly moving around. Obviously, the big boxing match coming up: Canelo versus Crawford. Um, this is on Netflix, right?
That's correct. Yep.
And this is Max Kellerman's return
Yes.
to I don't know if you want to call it. It's not really TV, but I guess digital return.
Well, digital return and boxing return. He hasn't closed boxing in a long time.
So this is a historic fight,
Oh,
right?
it's a huge fight. Undisputed super middleweight championship. Canelo versus Crawford. Let's see. Combined like 70 plus wins between them.
Wow.
It should be a great fight.
Do you see
It's
this
one of
going a distance or no?
uh probably it'll either be a Canelo decision or a late Crawford TKO, either in round 9 or 10. I mean, I know more people that are picking Crawford than Canelo because he's younger and they think that Canelo has started to slow down a little bit in recent years, but it should be a great fight. And it's a fight where I think the crazy thing is, and this is more of a global thing, like people are saying that like this is like the first global fight that like everybody can watch since like the days of like Ali and stuff. And those fights were on ABC and stuff because so many people have Netflix. It's a 200 million subscriber platform. So, or as they claim. So, my point is the fight is a chance to be seen by a lot of people without the need for pay per view. So that's kind of cool.
There was a lot of news about the undercard stuff about this too, right?
Hmm. It's a pretty good undercard. Somebody that Dana White has worked closely with, Callum Walsh is fighting Fernando Vargas, which should be a pretty good fight. There's a couple other fights in the card. There's some other notable names as well that are known to the hardcore boxing fan. But to have Callum Walsh on there, who White has supported for 3 to 4 years now on his rise to stardom, that's cool. And then, of course, the main event is obviously a huge fight. So,
what are the specs for the Canelo Crawford fight? Like, I see 12 rounds. Is there anything else besides that for specs of the fight?
12 rounds, undisputed super middleweight championship. So Crawford will have a chance to win it and unify those, because Canelo is coming in as the champion right now of that division. So that'll be pretty cool. It's at Allegiant Stadium, which is at the home of the Las Vegas Raiders, and tickets are nearly sold out. That's really exciting. And the grand arrivals were the other day, as of the time that this is airing. I'm pretty sure the grand arrivals at Fontainebleau Resort were yesterday. And then, of course, they'll have the ceremonial weigh-ins on Friday and then the fight on Saturday.
Now, another question I'm going to ask, because I ask this all the time about boxing and UFC. What is the money looking like in this?
I don't think the purses are publicly disclosed, but they're more than likely the biggest payouts that Canelo and Crawford will ever receive.
We're talking about like millions, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
It's a box office fight to the point where if you don't have a ticket, you won't be getting a ticket, kind of a thing.
How much do you think we're talking about on tickets? Like thousands?
I was seeing anywhere from like $400 for the cheapest nosebleed to like $3,000.
Holy crap!
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
this is going to be good. I have Netflix, so I can watch this fight.
Yeah.
So
You should.
I'm actually going to try and make time to watch this. When is the approximate main card supposed to take place?
You mean for the main event?
The main event.
You mean the main event specifically?
Like approximately, because it's never that time.
I would argue probably 10:45 Eastern.
Okay.
Somewhere in there. And I know we're not going to talk about this on here, but the UFC has moved their event in San Antonio to an earlier start time. That way people can watch Canelo Crawford right after without it bleeding into UFC.
Wow. The UFC actually playing along and actually wanting to work with somebody?
Yeah.
You don't hear that every day.
No, so the prelims begin at 3 p.m. Eastern, which should be enough time for Canelo Crawford to get in the ring so people can watch that after watching UFC. So if you're a diehard fight fan, you get 2 cards and they won't overlap, and it should be great. So
okay, one final topic, and my first response to this topic is WTF? What is this?
it's a circus. That's what it is.
So in case people can't see it, if you're listening audio only, will Mayweather and Tyson actually happen? So this news actually broke while we were recording Football Forecast the other day.
That's right, it did.
And my first response was literally, what the is going on here? Like, because Tyson was the one who posted it, I think, on his individual social medias when the news broke.
Well, it's broken by TMZ.
But then I saw Tyson like posted the graphic banner and everything, which, by the way, they did a really good job on that banner graphic.
Sure did.
By the way. But I said to Zan before we started recording, like, these guys are old as shit. Like,
really old.
And like, I'm looking this up really quick because I don't know the full answer. So Floyd is 48, and
he looks good for 48, I think.
And Tyson's 59.
In shape wise, he looks great.
So you have a 48-year-old taking on a 59-year-old. Like, can you help me here? Because I don't see.
I don't see it either. Like, I don't even see how a commission approves this, even if it's an exhibition fight.
Right, but if they already did all the work, like, I'm assuming it must have gotten approved, right?
Yeah, I would assume so.
Because first of all, why would anyone approve Tyson after what happened in the Jake Paul fiasco?
I don't know. That's a good question.
First of all, I don't even think that fight was a real fight, to be quite honest.
I don't think so either.
That was a shit show more than a fight.
Oh
And
yeah, I was a whole clown show.
and first of all, I think not Tyson, Mayweather is in good shape for 48. So if he doesn't win this exhibition fight, I don't know what to tell you. Um, and I think Tyson had some heart issues last time, didn't he?
Sure did.
So now, do you think there's a lot of money in this too for the two of them,
Oh
or
yeah.
no?
Oh yeah.
Like
Oh,
like millions, a lot of money, or no?
I don't know, but it's money that they'll be happy about. That's what I think.
First of all, Floyd doesn't need any more money. Can we just say that now?
No, he
Like,
doesn't.
and Tyson doesn't need it either. I don't
No,
think.
no, he doesn't.
So what is this? So what is the point of this fight? It's not money. It's not for a title. Is it entertainment? Is that what we're going for here?
Probably entertainment, yeah, and probably to get people to come out to it.
Do we know where the fight is taking place?
We have no idea.
So they made an announcement. They don't even know where the fight is taking place.
Nope.
I'm trying to see quickly if I can.
I don't think I don't think it's public. Good luck finding it.
Like, there's people posting about it, but I'm trying to see quickly if I could find any. Oh, you said something interesting to me about this also. That Fight Sports is involved in this also.
Yeah, they're the ones broadcasting it.
I didn't even know they were a broadcast uh, broadcast entity. Did you?
Yeah, I did. They're just not very publicized. They do a lot of boxing reruns on their channel.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see if there's any location or anything.
I don't think so. I haven't seen anything.
But I'm. It's safe to assume there's gonna be a lot of people watching it, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Because Fight Sports is basically free. There may be a small subscription, but otherwise it's not like unaffordable.
Yeah, like see, everyone's posting the story, but it looks they spring of 2026. Yeah, the banner was cool. Um, will it be a professional section bout? Oh, and what weight class would they fight in?
I have no idea.
Because I'm assuming Tyson's got him beat weight wise.
Oh yeah, the weight discrepancy is going to be stupid. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So how do you get around that type of thing or does in an exhibition match? Does that
Exhibition, it doesn't matter. That's why Mayweather was able to fight Logan Paul and all that.
you mean Jake, right?
No, Floyd fought Logan.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did.
I forgot about that. You're right. I don't know. I'll be entertained one way or the other just because I want to see two guys like slap fighting each other because I don't think they're going to want to hurt one another.
No. It's going to be. It's more so for the name value and less about the fight. The fight itself is going to be a snooze fest. You might as well. You might as well go out to dinner and miss the fight, or go get popcorn and go to a movie during the fight because the fight's going to be boring. So.
Like, I just don't know what to say because this is such a bizarre thing. They're doing it for the money too. Let's just be real because they're both going to make millions of dollars and they're going to make a lot of money. But you're not going to get a legitimate fight out of it. If you expect Floyd to hurt Tyson,
that will not happen. He will love tap him.
and don't get me and on the other side of things, even though Tyson would want to hurt somebody just because he likes to get in there and fight, I don't think he would hurt Floyd.
No, and he doesn't have it anymore either. He's
59 years old. Like
yeah,
that,
his legs are gone and all that.
his cardio is gone. Like,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I just thought it was just interesting from a standpoint to say like, what the heck with this fight because I have no idea, and I'm sure like you guys like for MMA side, I'm sure you're going to write a small story about it, right? In a sense, because most of the sites will.
No, I think we're steering clear from it because the UFC has no involvement in this fight.
They don't? I thought they did.
No, they don't. They have zero involvement.
It's probably good, actually, that they don't.
Mm-hmm.
But then they don't get stuck in the circus that's involved in it.
No, I don't think the UFC would promote this anyway.
That would be funny if Dana White did.
No, it would. It would be hilarious, but he
'Cause, like,
likes Tyson too much to where I'm sure told Tyson not to do this, and Tyson did it anyway.
You think Dana said that to him, you mean?
Oh yeah, because he told him not to do the Roy Jones fight, and Tyson did that. So
Well, I think a little money probably helped that. That's just my hunch. But because I guarantee you, like, because Floyd doesn't fight for small money. Let's just
no,
admit that now.
no, he doesn't.
Think about the McGregor fight. Didn't they both get a minimum of $100 million each?
Mm-hmm.
You think Floyd was going to turn down $100 million at that point in time?
No.
And for Conor, that was the biggest payday of his career.
Yeah.
So
and why he hasn't really fought in a long time besides the injury.
Because he doesn't have to.
Because he doesn't have to fight.
If he never had that fight, he probably would have rushed to come back and fight.
Oh yeah,
depending.
Absolutely. He would have still been the champion too, because he hadn't relinquished his belt yet. So he would have still been the champion in the UFC, and he would have defended his belt by then. If the fight never happened.
That's a good point. But I'm sure by the time these fights are over, we'll talk about it because it's good. We're just gonna have some funny stuff to talk about in this fight. But that'll do it for this episode of Empty the Bench, episode 287. Make sure you follow us on social media at ETB Sports, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at ETB Sports. Excuse me. Follow the Empty the Bench podcast network at ETB Network, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Make sure you follow our YouTube channel, over 1,000 subs and growing. YouTube.com/ETB Network. And if you can't watch on the video side, listen to Empty the Bench wherever you get your podcasts. All audio platforms involved. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you know the deal, how that goes. And Empty the Bench, full network presented by Playback, playback.tv/ETB Network. And one last thing I'm going to tease. I can't say the full thing yet, but we do have a sponsorship deal in the works that we are working on. When I get that officially pen to paper and we're all done with the agreement, you're going to see some fun stuff coming out from a gambling perspective. That's all I can say at this point right now. I don't want to give it away until we have agreement on paper, but we're going to be doing a lot more things. Let's just put it that way. So you're going to see some parlay action, some betting stuff. How cool would it be to have a Zan Zinger parlay?
It'd be pretty cool, I would say.
So keep that in the back of your mind, what I just said, because we have some cool gambling sponsorships coming along the way. So just keep that in mind. So that'll do it. He's Zain Bando. I'm Nick Morgasen. We will see you next week for episode 288 of Empty the Bench. Have a good day, everybody.
Have a good one and have a great rest of your week. Cheers, guys.